an article posted to DallasCowboys.com. So this is team website material.
Okay.
An interview from Mobile, Alabama, with the owner, general manager, and pretty much whatever he wants to be called of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, talking about Dan Quinn being back in the mix. Now, Kellen Moore today is apparently being interviewed for a head coaching job.
Of course he is.
And I don't know if it's going to work out or not for him, but apparently it's with the Miami Dolphins. Okay. So he's part of the Dolphins radar screen. So he's not yet back in the fold, but Dan Quinn is, as we know. He already said he's not going to take another job, and apparently signed a little bit longer of a term with Dallas. Now, why am I bringing all this up?
Yeah, Rich, why are you?
Okay. So he's talking about, all of us wanted Dan to stay. That was a key to our continuity here, says Jerry Jones. Under the headline of this article, Jerry Jones weighs the big picture with coaches. Okay. That's the headline.
That's a
I would absolutely say the headline, though, is the Dan Quinn quote here when he said that he stays here because there's always been with every coach, with every one of those three coaches, of Dan Quinn and Sean Payton and Jason Garrett, and those coaches that you were talking about right here, that that promising assistant wanted to stay. He's noted he's worked through it now 3 times. Quinn's with Sean Payton and Jason Garrett in that category. As we all know, Sean Payton left and Jason left of not his own accord eventually. He stays here because there's always been with every coach. Every one of those 3 coaches have said they'd love to be the head coach of the Cowboys. Everyone. So my point is that has, in my mind, a lot of logic as to why they might not take a job now rather than one, or wait and see how the cards go in the future.
That's some crazy shit.
When asked if that might, make Mike McCarthy a little bit uncomfortable, as the article quotes, Jones was once again startlingly blunt. By the way, great band name. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Startlingly Blunt.
Hey, Sheboygan.
Quote, Mike knows that someday somebody other than him will be coach of the Cowboys. Time moves on. That's the ownership version of Shanahan saying we could all be dead by Sunday anyway. What do you need an answer for? Mike knows he's not. Yeah, Mike will not live forever, I guess.
Time is dude.
Like
Al Stewart said, time passes.
Dan wants to be the head coach of the Cowboys. Same as Sean Payton, same as Jason Garrett. Happened for Jason Garrett. Couldn't happen for Sean yet. I added the yet.
Oh, I was going to say Jared said yet.
Mike knows that someday somebody other than him will be the coach of the Cowboys, so he's going to be cool with it.
Yeah.
He asked us he's worried about putting added pressure on his coach. Jones smiled. I don't at all. Mike's good in his skin. I'm good in his skin with where we are. That's
an interesting way to put it.
I don't know. You know what? That's a very, I don't know which movie that is that, hopefully Men in Black, where he's taking in the McCarthy skin, or hopefully it's not Silence of the Lambs, where he tells McCarthy to put the lotion in the basket, because here comes Buffalo Bill Dan Quinn.
Was he a great big fat woman?
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
What is that?
Maybe it's Face Off.
So here we go.
Face
Off. I'm in.
The calls are indeed coming from within the house for the 2022 Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, we stay in the news, baby.
That's right.
You do, because it's your own website.
We might not win the Super Bowl every year, but you're going to talk about us. Please believe it.
Get your damn act together.
Get your damn act together.
Print that, says Jerry Jones.
Write it down. Take a picture.
Wow. Print it.
We're the joke of the
Quote
NFL.
Me.
That's sad.
What's the point of this? We're glad Dan's back. Dan's terrific. He's incredible. He's head coaching material. That's why he was interested in other places. So we're thrilled to have him here. What's the whole business of Sean Payton wanted to be a coach here? And
you know how
what's that for?
You know how
by the way, I love it.
likes
Just so I want everyone to understand, this is fantastic. and then he's honest. I love honesty.
It's the best policy.
But you know how
'Cause it's
TJ
reality.
told Jay, like, we can go back to the part where you don't talk as much? Like, someone needs to tell Jerry,
Oh,
hey,
good
you
luck
don't
with
have
that.
to talk so
Good luck
much.
with that.
But we don't know if this could have been taken out of context. I don't know the context that Jerry said. Like, this could have been a part of like a 20-minute conversation.
The context
and
is
we
in a
just ripped
story
that part
called
out.
Jerry Jones Weighs the Big Picture with Coaches.
That seems like appropriate context.
And he was called startingly blunt. Startingly blunt. Yeah. By the way, that's the long-lost sister of Emily, I think, right?
Yeah. And neither of them are in Paris.
Mike knows that someday Mike knows someday somebody other than him is going to be coach of the Cowboys.
That's like,
What does that mean? What does that mean?
hey,
Yeah,
Rich,
even Tom Landry died. Like, I mean, seriously.
hey, Rich, you have a great
We're all-
house.
we're all
You-
gonna die one
you
day.
love living in that house, but someday someone else is going to live in that house.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
know, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? I don't want to think about that.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to think about
Oh,
that.
my
but
God.
No, I don't want to think about
You
that.
love
one
your
day.
house. You love waking up and going to sleep in your house, but there will be a point at some point you won't be doing that and someone else will.
I don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the house that I own,
Right.
Oh,
that
my
I'm the
God.
coach of.
Exactly.
But just know
Oh,
at some point, you won't.
At some
That's what he's just
point,
preparing them for.
you won't.
By the way, is it going to be a year from now?
I don't want to talk about
You know
it.
what I mean? Like,
Right.
well, I was talking about the Cowboys.
Oh,
not
sorry.
your house.
Yes.
Not your house.
Well, the first minute that I have a clock management problem in my house, somebody's in.
Somebody's
in.
in.
Somebody's taking over. That one time that I overslept 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
see?
Look out.
Look out.
I lose my house.
Everything you worked so hard for.
Everything
Gone.
you work
Hate
for
to tell
is
Suze.
gone.
Suze.
Well, no, she's staying. You're going.
Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here. And, of course, as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's doing good on this Friday. Finally, freaking Friday. Let's get open for business, and let's wake up the football guys. Wake up here, guys. Wake up. We are literally the laughing stock of the NFL. Let me do a – can you hear me? Ruben Wells, can you hear me? Hey, what's up, Ruben? Shout out to you for the super chat.
Mic sound nice, check one. My mic sound nice, check two. My mic sound nice, check three. Are you ready?
What's up, Mike? How you doing? Are you sure? You know, sometimes I need to check his pulse because he's like Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is not, excitable. I don't, some of y'all are older like me. I can't remember what it was on, but there was a show where hope you are having a wonderful evening. Man, every evening that I'm alive is a wonderful evening. But somebody out there will remember this. But there was a guy who was supposed to be like a producer or something. And so the comedians would come up and they'd do a joke and stuff like that. And he would say, it gets me right here. Because he would always he had a blank face on. And it would be like, well, what'd you think? It gets me right here. That was his whole reaction. It gets me right here. And that's Michael and Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper on the sidelines gets me right here. Anybody remember? It was an old show. I don't know if it was something like Laughing or something like that, but something back in like the 70s. It was kind of like, you can call me Ray, or you can call me Jay, or you can call me JJ Jr., but you doesn't have to call me Mr. Johnson. This guy, I've done it before. But what's funny is I remember it being really, really funny till I see the clip.
Was Paul Mooney on that show?
I don't know. He might have been.
If he was, I know what show you're talking about.
But it's funny when you look back on stuff that you thought was great. What?
DMV's in the house.
DDM. I wish I could play the whole thing. But, a lot of times, things that we remember being great aren't as great as we remember. For example, I remember when Sir Mix-a-Lot came out, I like big butts that I cannot lie. Oh my God. You hear that song, you're like, oh man, that was the jam, man. I like me some big butts. Go back and look at the video. Go back and look at the video. There ain't no big butts in that video. But what we remember,
It was big for the time.
what we remember was, oh my God, man, the women on the, oh man, I like big butts. But then you go back and you look back now and it's kind of like, what happened?
That was big for the time.
It wasn't even big. I mean, that was, shit. Okay, it's so bad that women the women that were in there that were there supposed to be the big butts, they get joked on today. They literally, what you call that? Go eat a ham sandwich. That's what, I'm serious. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody.
Didn't have
But
a
I'm
makeup
just,
artist or nothing that could make it
look
a certain size.
I mean, because you see now, I mean, and it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy because I'm just kind of like, I don't remember that kind of stuff in high school. I just don't remember that stuff. All right, I digress. Let me get to
the money. That's all that
now
is.
that I've been talking about big butts, let me get to the ladies because I see Gina C. What's up, Gina? How you doing, Gina? Should I say, damn, Gina, how you doing?
The lady of the hour.
The lady of the hour with all the power? Okay. Right. And then, of course, there's Angelica Barone, my cooking partner. What's up? Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. What's up, Lola? I know we got Gina Thorne, who's really a rose. What's up, Gina? There's Sheila Brazil. What's up, Sheila? I know that Stacy Schubert, my wife has always said, you know her name's Stacy, not Roland's Review, right? I said, yeah. But her name, she always comes on my channel as Roland's Review. I know it's Stacy. What's up, Roland/Stacy? Let's see. Sherry G. What's up, Sherry? We'll pour a little glass of sherry here tonight. All right. Did I miss any of the other lovely ladies in the place? DMV. I did a video where it was, it didn't, I'm technology challenged. The video I did, I was trying out something for the shot glass racks, and I was showing some of the work I was doing in the shop. But the picture that you gave me actually became the thumbnail of it. So if you look on my page there, DMV, back a couple of videos, I do too many damn videos every day. But if you look at it, that was the picture that you sent of you and your bride. That's the cover picture. So I hope I'm still working on it. It's not finished. We got to varnish and all that, but just letting you know, okay? And don't let your wife see it if it's a surprise for her. So, I just fucked it all up.
I don't think she watches your channel.
Yeah, I don't think she does. Brian SoCal, what's up, Brian? I hope you're feeling better from the COVID. When you get some time, Brian, I need you, buddy, with this new CNC machine. I need to get some more, stuff. Kramer, what's up, Kramer? How you doing? All right, so good people. Rich Eisen and crew, they got a good laugh at Jerry Jones. And there's Joanne Gonzalez. What's up? Did I get Joanne? What's up, Joanne? About to ruin my surprise. Well, she don't watch my channel, so okay. You know I suck. Okay? Shit. Oh, shot. I thought it was Law Nation on the picture. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Tell them it's Law. No, but they look a bit alike. They all both look like James Harden. Okay. Anyway. Jerry Jones. Let me see if I can find. I was looking at this while I was listening to them because this is kind of funny. It was Jerry Jones pulling strings every step of the way for the Cowboys, despite the fact that he described himself as a walk-on of NFL owners at the time. Other owners at the time Jones brought the franchise include, like Lamar Hunt and Eddie DeBartolo and Paul Brown. But Jones earned plenty of criticism for his highly visible and heavy involvement in team operations. Those are the knocks that the Joneses have never shied away. And this is Jerry's quote. As long as it's not a serious thing, controversy is good, Jones told SB Nation. There was a favorite place that we'd like to go. We were down there one day. Somebody tied up a horse up. Well, after about 2 or 3 beers, I went up and got up on the horse and rode that horse into the bar. if it gets too dull around the Dallas Cowboys, I know how to stir shit up a little bit. I can get that done. That's a quote from Jerry. So don't be surprised when he rides the horse into the bar. Because he likes to, I like to stir the shit up. And he stirred the shit up big time. I'm trying to understand what the hell. Let me see. Do I even have it here? I don't even know if I have it. What the hell's going on out here? What the hell is going on around here? Because you first went out and you talked about replacing everybody. Then you came back and said, oh, no, we were never going to fire Mike McCarthy. You know, you give him the proverbial pat on the back. You're not going anywhere. We love you and everything else, right? And then you say, we're bringing back Dan Quinn because he wants to be head coach. Oh, and by the way, I also want Kellen Moore, and I'll be pissed off if he gets taken by Miami.
Why would you be pissed?
Because he wants the continuity. He likes the way things are stirred. It's musical coaches, and I don't know which one I want. And then, of course, there's Sean Payton. Angelica Baron, you are 100% the funny farm. I'm going crazy trying to keep up with the Cowboys. Somebody wished death on Jerry Jones' Instagram. I didn't see that. I told myself this offseason I'm not getting stressed out about crazy news. Well, you know, it's Jerry Jones who, if you want to say from a marketing standpoint, they say there's no such bad thing as bad press. As long as they're talking about you, that's all that matters. Then you got to say the Dallas Cowboys matter. I mean, literally, you had Facebook. You want to hear some crazy shit? Mark Zuckerberg lost $31 billion yesterday in one goddamn day.
That's only on paper, though.
I'm just saying. I don't care if it's on paper or if he had it sitting in his house. $31 billion because Facebook stock dropped by 25%. The biggest drop in the stock market history of a stock. And you know what? That don't even scratch the surface of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys.
My question, who gets on Facebook anymore?
I'm just saying, listen,
I don't even get on Facebook.
$31 billion is more than some countries have. He lost it in one day. Okay, here you go, chunk change. And that doesn't make the news any bigger than Jerry frickin' Jones. Hey, Mark, it's a mind buster. You got that right. You got that 100% right. Good looks, Alan Williams. How much Cowboys matter and their net worth does absolutely nothing for me. Don't see how some fans use that as a bragging point. I'm just saying. Well, it's not really us bragging about it. I guess it's Jerry Jones bragging about his $10 billion that he's got and how he's making more of it, that he's literally printing money. Wait, what was that? Let's ferociously follow the draft. We may be surprised. Well, we're going to need to be. Does Dallas cut Anthony Brown? Did that? Not that I know of. No, that would be news to me if they did cut him.
Why would you cut Anthony Brown? He actually played good this season.
They may. He's about $5 million. They may be looking because they're looking to save some money.
Well, you save some money by letting D-Law go. June 1st.
Well, that is Bobby Belt is hinting that the Dallas Cowboys will be letting go of D-Law as well as Amari Cooper. Now, over here we have our chart.
I'll be happy with
but
D-Law.
the thing with D-Law, and actually let me pull up his stats.
I know what's up with D-Law?
What's that?
Micah Parsons' production went down when D-Law came back. He would have got the record.
I agree with that one.
So I was like,
but in order to do that, you're going to need to get some more linebackers. Now we do have Jabril Cox that'll be coming back from injury, but we don't know how much we have with him. But if you go to D-Law stats, and here's the thing, to me this is Tyrone Crawford all over.
Yeah, that's what it sounds.
Okay, and I'm not saying that D-Law and Tyrone Crawford's talent levels are comparable. D-Law is truly a better player than Tyrone Crawford. And it's funny because I remember, I think it was last Friday, somebody said, well, let's just move D-Law down to the 3 technique.
That doesn't work.
D-Law
No.
is not big enough. Let me see. Wikipedia usually has their size. Let me see. Wikipedia. Here's what's funny. This is so funny. Actually, I didn't realize he was quite that light. D-Law is 6'3", 254 pounds. He's a defensive end. He's an edge rusher. And people say, move him down to the 3 technique. That's Tyrone Crawford. Because with Tyrone Crawford, he was a team captain. He was a leader. He was a great leader. Everybody loved him. But the problem was he was making $10 million and not giving you $10 million worth of money. In fact, let me get it. This is actually hitting me a little harder here. This is actually really, really good. Tyrone Crawford was 6'4", 290. But if you looked at his last 2 years, let's change camera angles here. You look at his last 2 years of playing, 2019 was 1 sack. 2020, he had 2 sacks. In those 2 years, he got $20 million. I'm not mad at him for getting paid. Because, you know what? If I was out on that field getting the crap beat out of me and getting both hips having to get surgery on, I'd want to make $10 million a year too. However, that doesn't help my team. So if Tyrone Crawford was 290 and playing defensive end and playing tackle, right? And he couldn't hold up on there, what makes you think that D-Law, who's 6'3", 254, is going to be able to hold up as a tackle? He's too lightweight. We need big-ass guys to play the 3 technique, not D-Law. And you certainly don't pay a 3 technique $27 million. Yeah, you don't. Because my thing is you need Micah Parsons to take over that spot. But the funny thing is this. People say, oh, Micah Parsons, he's too small. He's not heavy enough. He won't be able to take the abuse. He'll wear down. But he's only 9 pounds lighter than D-Law. And has yet to get that NFL body put on him yet where they build you up. You get a little bit more muscle and strength and everything in there. I'll let you know, Charles Haley was only about 250. It's speed that kills in the NFL. And what you're also looking at, too, now is more speed than anything else. Speed will get you there. It's not about the big, behemoth guys that are 300 pounds that are defensive end. No. It's the guys that can bend that edge and get upfield. And D-Law at $27 million, I'm sorry. There's no way that I can look at the stats. Let's look at the stats at Pro Football Reference. I can't look at this and say, three sacks, 21 combined tackles, 7 quarterback hits is worth $27 million. Just can't. And when I look at it, I say 5 sacks, 6.5 sacks, 3 sacks. There's nothing here that says we're going to get to be back to be like a 10, 12 sack guy. Nope. There's nothing there. I don't see how you can quantify $27 million at that. Trade-wise, I don't think anybody's going to trade for that contract. You're going to have to eat some of that if you try and trade him. More than anything else, I think that is a salary cap, because here we have it. $27 million right there. If you cut him, you save $19 million of it. The $19 million plus the $16 that we're getting back from Dak, that gives you at least $14 million to start signing some of your own. Because here's the problem. We go down the list of free agents. Whether you say, I don't want most of those bums, it doesn't matter. Because if you don't sign those guys, there's still roster spots that have to be filled. You may want to try and improve some of those positions. You're probably not going to improve it without spending at least the same amount of money. And at the moment, you don't have any money. And before you get your emotions into a whack, you have to look at this and say, am I better off keeping D-Law and letting go Randy Gregory and 5 or 6 other people, or am I better off with strengths of numbers? I'm not telling you what way to go. Don't get pissed off at me. I'm just letting you know the decisions that have to be made out there. Sup 5 rings, let's see, cut D-Law, he isn't productive. Too bad Bucks extended Vita Vea. Yeah, oh my God, I would love to have Vita Vea. I can understand letting D-Law go, but not Cooper. Well, let's look at another one. Okay. Amari Cooper, who was the highest cap number for wide receiver last year. $22 million. I understand the Jones's point of if you're going to have a big salary like that, you have to produce. So let's go to Amari Cooper. Well, I don't know if you can count the year before because Dak wasn't there. When he was there with
I'm
Dak.
talking about this year, towards the end of the season.
Well, here's the thing. Let's go to Pro Football Reference here.
No, excuse me. I think when after he sat out, because he's on the list, his production seemed like it went down.
True.
So he's still playing good until then, even with Dak.
Here's the thing. You could look at 2020 and say he still had 1,100 yards, 130 catches. I'm sorry, 92 catches. I'm talking about 2020. 2020 was actually his second best year. 2019 was a monster year for him with Dak. That was a great year. Came back a little bit in 2020, but Dak wasn't there, so you can understand that. But he's almost 3 yards off of yards per catch, and he's down way on the catches. So when you talk about 68 catches, is 68 catches worth
I think it's a $20 million cap savings if you let him go. But the thing is, though, I think for the next 4 years, if you let him go, you get $20 million cap savings. I think I saw Pro Football on over the cap. I'm not sure if that's a pre or a post or June 1st cut or not.
So in comparison, as we go down the list, let's just look at the list here. Okay, so Amari Cooper was the highest cap number. You got Cooper Kupp with 145. Look, Cooper Kupp's so high, you can't even get him in the number on there.
Well,
Followed by Devontae Adams with 123. Tyreek Hill, 111. Justin Jefferson, he's ass, 108. Mark Andrews, 107. Dante Johnson, 107. Keenan Allen, 106. Jalen Waddle, 104. Stephon Diggs, 103. Hunter Renfrow, 103. Chris Godwin, 98. And Chris Godwin, he missed time. That's what's crazy. Chris Godwin missed a bunch of games. DJ Moore, 93. Travis Kelce, 92. Marcus Brown, 91. Benjamin Cooks, 90. Amon Brown, 90. Malcolm Pittman, 88. Jacoby Myers, 83. Cole Beasley, 82. Dariel Mooney, 81. Jamar Chase, 81. CeeDee Lamb, 79. Dalton Schultz, 78. That's where you start looking and saying, wait a minute. You mean Dalton Schultz cost 10 more passes than Amari Cooper?
And it's cost you way less.
Christian Kirk, 77. And look, the list doesn't even go down far enough to catch him.
That's sad. That's crazy.
So And I'm not saying. Listen, don't quote me, but I understand exactly what he's saying. $22 million, we don't mind paying it if we're getting value for it. You know, I spent $9,000 for that machine out there. I don't care that I spent $9,000 for the machine. As long as the production is, I can make the product better, I can make it faster, and I can make money out of it. If I can get those things, it doesn't matter what it costs. But you look at those two guys right there and the numbers, you just don't, you know, you expect to see 100 receptions. You expect $22 million to at least be the leader on your team. Now, that partially may be Kellen Moore. It may be Kellen Moore in the way he's run the offense. I don't know what that means at Super. Is Coop willing to restructure?
You're gonna kick it down the road.
He could restructure, but here's where I'm going to tell you, though. His deal last year would have been the easiest to restructure, but the Cowboys didn't when they needed money. They actually restructured Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and Dak Prescott.
I don't think Tyron Smith was actually smart.
Well, you could still let go of Tyron Smith, too.
Yeah, but you still have to pay down the road. If not,
Well, the question is, it's not so much is Cooper willing to restructure? Do the Cowboys want to restructure, or are they ready to move on? Because here's the problem, too, also with Amari Cooper. You'll remember not just what Jerry said recently. You'll remember when he had COVID and wasn't vaccinated. You remember Jerry Jones going off on him. Jerry Jones went off about Amari Cooper not being there because he missed 2 games, and the third game that he came back, he wasn't in shape. He was still hurting from COVID.
yeah, he wasn't 100%.
Why would we go after Juju? We just got Coop. Just give Coop the ball. Because you can probably get Juju for a lot less money. Because here's what you have to understand.
And I wouldn't be mad at that either.
You could keep Amari Cooper. You could go ahead and probably restructure his contract. You won't get as much money out of it probably as cutting him. Because cutting him, here's the deal. Let's go back to the numbers. If you cut Amari Cooper, you're going to get $16 million. The question is, beyond just the money, is do the Dallas Cowboys look at him as a detriment to the team because of the attitude? I'm just trying to put something together here. Because you had COVID and the owner's already gone on and said, you know, you're not vaccinated. This is ridiculous. You need to be doing everything you can. And then you see him out going to Mavs games, not wearing a mask either.
Don't forget about the championship game, college championship.
And the college championship. So it's kind of like, are you really all in? I'm just saying, but if I'm Jerry Jones, it's like, are you all in?
I don't know if he is or not.
I'm paying you $22 million, the highest cap hit in the NFL, and you're not vaccinated. You're getting fined. You're in the news for bad shit because you're going to these games and risking getting COVID. And this is where I think is the other part that they're not saying but could be on there as well. We have, because the same thing I will say with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant, who knows the whole deal, we don't. But that game where Dez Bryant was like, get me the ball. I mean, it's just like, and he was literally melting down on the sideline. They threw him the ball. He tipped it up. We got an interception, and, we ended up losing that game. That was the game that I think that the Cowboys said, we can't have that on the field. You're an aging veteran. We got the young quarterback. You're high salary. This is the end. And they ended up cutting him in that offseason. DMV facts. Big Wade 44. What's up, man?
Waves.
Well, here's to me. Here's what I think. I have so many questions. Son of Thunder, what's up? Shout out to you on the super chat. I got questions because I didn't think about this before, But when Mike McCarthy was hired and they talked about the offense, they said you're going to see some West Coast in it. You know, we got Kellen Moore who understands Dak and everything else, and so we're going to be like a hybrid West Coast. And now looking back, and I think about Mike Nolan and us being a hybrid 3-4 team, and you know we're going to match up with everybody, and that goes back to my thing I was saying lately that. We're trying to be a jack of what is your problem? Damn.
You must not like what you're talking about.
Must be Jerry Jones like doing something, you know, remotely messing with my mics and stuff. Look, Angelica, broke-ass media full of fat. That's what it is. But these things were cheap, man. These microphone holders. I'm just trying to get comfortable here. But he talked about the hybrid West Coast. Does anybody else out there feel like this is a West Coast offense? Does anybody feel like it is?
It feels like the same stuff we're running when Jason Garrett and crew were here.
Right. But the problem is
Mike McCarthy don't call nothing.
That offense was predicated on being able to run the football. Wait, David. So, David, hold on, David.
David Wiley.
David, you haven't been to the Thrive site then, have you, and registered, did you? Jackass? Because had you, David, I would have your birthday on my list here. Because you're not there. So what that tells me is, Dave, you have not been to the community tab, clicked on the link for the channel members, and went there and talked to my wife, Tracy. You didn't do it, did you, David? You didn't do it. Well, let me say to you, David Wiley, chef extraordinaire, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. More like East Coast. Thank you, DMV. More like East Coast. So, if Mike McCarthy is the head coach who has won Super Bowl in Dallas, right? He won a Super Bowl in the Dallas Stadium. Who's had Brett Favre, who's had Aaron Rodgers. How come he's deferring to Kellen Moore on the offense?
To put blame on somebody else. That's just like when you have children, and I've done this too. I'm the one that was responsible for whatever happened, and I blame it on my sister.
Yeah,
that's basically what he's doing because he's part of the problem too.
Oh, so you admit that now?
I mean, every child does that.
Are you stealing her dirt again?
No.
That was the fun. Okay, that was some funny shit.
That's what it reminds me of. When
that was
like
some.
that.
I see. Whenever people fighting over stupid stuff, I always remember this transaction. Remember back in my house in Woodbridge, the kids are out there playing in the yard, and Caleb comes running to me. Michael's stealing my dirt, and I go run over. Michael, how dare you steal her dirt? And I was just like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Everything's dirt. What's that? Who's stealing dirt? Okay. Anyway, that's just one of those crazy things.
That just seems like what's going on.
I don't. This is where
put blame on somebody else.
You know, the Joneses are rich, and they got this great. I mean, it's not like you can look at Washington's stadium and say they're dysfunctional because look at how their house looks.
Yeah, so bad.
Okay, you know when you go to the friend's house and they just got shit everywhere, and you just like, yeah, this is bad. They got some issues.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Right?
The stadium that is leaking in the press boxes.
Well, it's falling apart on. I mean,
that's how you.
So
know
you
bad.
understand? You look at that and say, yeah, this organization is a mess. But you go to Dallas. You know, you can't use deep fryers in the parking lot. We don't want to have grease on the parking lots, right?
And you can only park in the grass.
Yeah, you're going to tailgate. You have some respect. Only tailgate on the grass, okay? You got a beautiful stadium that's, you don't see garbage. You don't smell garbage and waste and stuff. You know, after the tailgate, you don't see bags of trash all over the place. They take care of it. So you would think that this is that they got their shit together. But it doesn't seem to be that way because You're sitting here, you hired a coach to get a different result from Jason Garrett, but you're still running Jason Garrett's offense. From a guy who came from the Lions, who ended up learning what he did from a guy you fired because you didn't like his offense.
He might be a coach.
Is any of this making any sense?
It's probably say he might be a coach.
So, why aren't we running the West Coast offense?
I don't know why we're not. If Kellen Moore goes,
Will we be changing the offense?
go to the West Coast, and if that doesn't work, then you get
Okay,
McCarthy out of here.
but you know what? I'm actually hoping that Kellen Moore gets the job.
I'm hoping so too. So we can have a change of philosophy on that offense.
I was trying to. What game Sunday, David? What game you talking about watching Sunday?
The Pro Bowl. That's the only game that's on Sunday. I'm not watching the Pro Bowl. I'll probably be working.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna do. No, have you seen the squeaky football I bought for Simba?
Yeah, I seen it.
I got this squeaky toy for Simba. Simba, he perks up and goes crazy with the squeaky toys. I got a squeaky football. And if I step on it, he'll get there, and he'll try and grab it, and he'll run away from me, and I have to chase him, right? I think I would actually rather watch Simba running around with the rubber football than watch the Pro Bowl. It just has no excitement to me whatsoever. Why don't we cut Amari, sign Gallup to a 2-year deal, and see if his knee is solid? How about we sign Michael Gallup to a 1-year deal and have it as a prove-it deal?
I would agree to that.
But here's the problem. He's not getting surgery till next week on his ACL. There's no guarantee that he's going to be ready to start the year. Now, you want a little tad bit, a little taste of something that I heard from the grapevine?
Kellen Moore's gone.
No. I don't know that. No.
That would be a miracle if you did.
Dak Prescott and Juju, they both are working for 7-Eleven, but they've actually hit it off pretty good for quite a while. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying. Now Juju's coming off of a bad year, off of an injury. Juju might be affordable, but here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Okay. What's missing on the Cowboys receiver core?
What's a lot of things missing on the Cowboys?
Look back at the great Dallas Cowboys teams. You had a dog in Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin.
Can he catch balls?
Yes, he could catch balls.
Okay.
But Michael Irvin was that guy who was, get me the damn ball, and we going to go ahead and do it. Okay? Drew Pearson was a dog.
Definitely was.
He was a dog. T.O., when he was here, was a dog. Dez Bryant was a dog. His body kind of failed him. The problem with Dez Bryant was naturally gifted where he could just out-muscle, out-jump, and things like that. And with Tony Romo being the gunslinger that would run around and buy time, it wasn't about precise routes. So this is where I don't know that Tony Romo would have been good in the West Coast offense, because the West Coast offense is predicated on timing routes and being in the spot. Dez was not that guy. That's one of the reasons why I think the West Coast would be good for Dak. But I ask you, on our receiver core, who's our dog?
Maybe Wilson. Well, he's the only one that's been.
He's your number 4 wide receiver. He's not. He ain't the dog. Nobody's gonna respect him to be the dog.
Well, he's the only one that's been consistent all year.
I've heard that's something that Dak says he needs. He needs that dog, that guy with that attitude, that guy that has a pulse.
If you get rid of Amari Cooper, then maybe you think about bringing him in.
Well, but again, he's not your number 1. He would probably be your 3rd.
If you get rid of Amari Cooper, then who's going to be number 1?
That's another question.
I don't
But
think,
you know,
I don't think CeeDee Lamb's ready to be a number 1.
but here's okay. But hold it. Let's go back here for a second.
100.
But hold on. Sometimes you have to understand, is it the wide receiver that makes the quarterback, or is it the quarterback that makes the wide receiver?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Maybe, but let's look at
And also having an offensive line.
hold on.
Having an offensive line makes a world of a difference.
Oh, I agree. And see, this is where if the question would be, do you keep Amari Cooper or do you get a lights out stud offensive lineman?
I think get the
I'm getting the stud offensive lineman.
If you can cut
I'm getting an offensive lineman every day.
Offensive line,
Okay. I'm telling you.
And then maybe you look at Juju.
Because if you cannot protect the quarterback, it doesn't matter who you have in a wide receiver if he's on his ass. But I want you to look at something here. This is where I try and do my thinking here. And I haven't seen too many trolls. In fact, you know what I haven't seen too much of lately? Is Eagle fans. Do we have Eagle fans still? Eagle trolls?
They're sitting on the couch just like us.
Okay.
And the rest of the 30 NFL teams.
Let's look at Randall Cobb here for a second. Because Randall Cobb came into the NFL and played like gangbusters. Let's go to his years. In 2011, had 15 yards per reception, only 25 receptions, but 15 was really good.
Yes,
Second year, he had 80 receptions at 11.9, really good. His third year had 31, 14 yards per reception. 2014, you had to look at and say that was the peak because he had 91 receptions for 1,287 yards and 14 yards per completion, right? That's pretty good. S. Tompkins, just a reminder, Dak is last 16. Yes, he did. And a passer, I agree on that. But guess what? That was a couple years ago. Coaches need coaching. Now, just hold on for a second here. Just hold on. Can you let me finish my statement here? So after that season with Aaron Rodgers, and we all know Aaron Rodgers is great, right? He averaged 10.5 in 2015, 10.2. He dipped down to 9.9. 2018, he was at 10.1. So that's why Green Bay said, you know, bro, your numbers aren't that good. And this is Aaron Rodgers, who we look at and say is the best quarterback in football, right?
You can't argue that.
Okay.
He's up there with the greatness.
But something magical happened when he got away from the bad man and came to Dallas and played with Dak. Because he all of a sudden went from 10.1 yards per reception to his peak in his career at 15.1 yards. A guy who Green Bay thought was roadkill gave up on him. He was averaging 10.1 when he left Aaron Rodgers. The next year he plays with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. He jumps up 5 yards per completion. And that doesn't count the 3 touchdowns passes that were called back because of stupid-ass questionable penalties. Had those big passes been in there, that would have been even higher. Okay, I know, Dak Prescott's a garbage-ass quarterback. But here's what's crazy. For all you out there and say, go get Deshaun Watson. He had the same receiver that Dak Prescott had, who the year before had 15.1 yards per pass. He goes to Houston and ends up dropping to 11.6. He goes back to Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, with a lot of offensive firepower there, and only gets to 13.4. So I go back to this. Is it the quarterback that makes the receiver or the receiver that makes the quarterback? Because in that case right there, you look at that and say,
But we also had a good offensive line, too.
we had I'm not going to say.
It was better than this year.
It was, but
That's
you
what
still
I'm
have.
saying compared to this year, it's a lot better.
Shout out to Aisha Robinson. Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals. Okay. Back to Amari.
His first year here, he did.
Amari
really
Cooper, Stats.
His numbers went up his first
Because,
year.
and again, here's the thing. Okay, stats. Let's go to Amari Cooper stats. I don't want NFLs. I want Pro Football References. Amari Cooper. Let's go to his year after year. Okay. So when he was at Oakland his first year, 14.9, unbelievable year. Okay, unbelievable. 72 receptions, boom, great. Dropped to 13.9, 14.2, 13.4, and then he comes to Dallas. All of a sudden his numbers pick up, and they jump up to 15.1. Again, another peak from where he was dropping off. He ended up increasing by another 3 yards. So, again, I ask you, is it the receiver or the quarterback? Because if it's the quarterback that's going to hit the guys that are open, because we saw Cedric Wilson. Anybody look at Cedric Wilson and say, that guy's a great receiver? But Cedric Wilson actually made some good catches.
Yeah, this year he did.
He
And
did.
last year, too. But Cedric
But
Wilson,
was that the receiver or was that the quarterback getting them the ball?
I mean, we had garbage quarterbacks last year. He was playing really good last year.
Okay, well, let's see.
I'm not saying he wasn't getting touchdowns, but he was catching the ball consistently. Because he always played good when he had a backup quarterback in, and then he showed.
Let's look at the stats.
He showed that he's the real deal. That he's serviceable. I wouldn't say he's an Amari Cooper or C. Lamb, but he proved that he's serviceable.
Okay, well, let's look at the difference here.
Like he deserves to be in that conversation.
Okay, so
because 2020, I think only had maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns.
So 2019, he had 5 receptions, 9.2 yards, right?
It was way down on the
2020, he had 17 receptions, 11.1 yards. And like you said, he was playing with other quarterbacks that were there, right?
Yeah. He got 2 touchdowns.
Then, of course, this year, he ends up catching 45 receptions, 13.4 yards.
6 touchdowns.
So you look at that number, 13.4 yards. Again, is it the receiver, is a great receiver that's making the quarterback better, or is the quarterback making the receiver better? There are a couple of passes, and this is what I'm told from some of the people, that the ball was meant to go one spot, Cedric turned and goes the wrong way, and then has to try and make up. So they're incompletions where the ball was where it was supposed to be. And that's that happens when you're not a starter and don't play as much.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's one of those things that get better. So let's go back full circle here.
I still think he's serviceable.
Let's go back full circle here. Marmy is gone probably for being unvaxxed. And Samuel, that's what I say. There's the politics of pissing off Jerry Jones, where Jerry Jones looked at it and said, you should have been having that vaccination and being here and playing those games because I'm paying you $22 million. I'm not paying you $22 million to be at home with COVID. That's what Jerry Jones is looking at.
I don't know if it's a pre or post June 1st cut, but you can get $20 million from December.
True. Now,
depending on which way they go.
Right. So again, if you have to say it's a choice of, well, we're going to keep Amari Cooper because what we've done in the past with him, or let's fix the offensive line.
That's a no-brainer.
Because you don't have money to do both.
I think that's a no-brainer if you had to choose one.
You don't have money to do both. Now, maybe they decide Amari Cooper is in the longer plans and you restructure, which ends up kicking the money down the road, which means you're tied into this year, into next year. That's a possibility. But if the Cowboys are we don't know about this guy, I don't know that you're going to go through and want to kick it down the road. They didn't kick it down the road this past year when they easily could have.
I don't think they will.
Let me get to some of the comments here. They work with each other. I think it's both. They make each other better. We need a center that doesn't get offsides calls. How the hell do we do that? I agree with you. That cost us the Niners game. The wideout makes the quarterbacks better because if the wideout catches the ball, he's bailing him out even if he's bad. We need our offensive OC calling plays that get the balls. I agree with you on that one too. And this is where
coach needs to be calling the plays.
The difference of the West Coast offense, and especially this is why the West Coast offense would be better right now where the Cowboys are. The West Coast offense is about speed and precise passing routes. It's quick. It's like you've got CD in the slot. He's going across the middle. It's like 1, 2, 3, boom. I'm throwing the ball to the spot, which means it's quicker getting the ball in the hands of playmakers to be able to make plays. You know how many times Jerry Rice did that slant and carries it to the house? You'll see 50-yard touchdown pass, from Steve Young in the stats. But in reality, it was a 6-yard pass right there, and he took it all the way. With a bad offensive line or a smaller offensive line, you can do that with zone blocking. If you have players that can do that, you don't have to have the big maulers. Because the Cowboys thing is, we're going to run down your throat where you have to have maulers. The problem now is when you have maulers and you have guys like Micah Parsons that are fast. That's the counter to the mauling of the offense. We are behind the 8 ball and living in the past. For a while there, the offensive lines had the balance. We got the bigger guys, we're going to run down your throat. Now you got guys that are running 4.7s, 4.6s and stuff on the defensive line. They're running circles around you. That's why Micah Parsons was so effective. His speed was killing the offenses. He's not as big. He's given up 50, 60, 70 pounds to offensive tackles. But an offensive tackle that's 320 can't deal with that first step. And herein lies the problem for the Cowboys offense that's predicated on a run. We don't have Derrick Henry. We have to look at Zeke Elliott, who we can't get rid of because
not to the following year.
And let's go back to the numbers. The problem is Jerry Jones in this
11.
contract, Zeke who.
It's negative 11 or
right.
11 this year.
If we make him a pre-cut, it will literally cost us $30 million, whereas contract is $18. If we make him a post-June 1st cut,
the only way you save money is if you trade him.
Is it breaks even. Basically, you're paying him to be here or not to be here. Either way, you're paying him.
If you're able to trade him, I think you get money back. But
nobody's going to trade for the contract.
Exactly, but that's the
for
only
a
way
running
you're
back.
going to get something for him. I don't think anybody will either.
Nobody's going to trade for that
next
contract.
year you can let him go and get some money for him next year, the following season. You can get something back.
I agree. CeeDee Lamb would be great in the slot, but who's going to be your number one?
It'll have to be CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, so, and back to that original statement when I was talking about, people were saying you can't use Micah Parsons and he's too small, he's too light. I guarantee you he's going to put on 5 pounds of muscle at least this summer. And if D-Law is only 254,
D-Law got to go.
Well, there were rumors coming from his attorney during training camp that this was going to be his last year there in Dallas.
I think I remember hearing about that too when you said something before.
Call Philly 500. Why should I call Philly 500? Did you see Micah beat? Yes, I saw that. I love weed. Were you high last night? Because I did a video with it. I showed the clips.
Did something with it. I saw it on
I did. I showed the clip, and I also showed Diggs getting the catch where he did 360. Did you see that? Eastside Harold. Eastside, I know you're not talking.
I know y'all don't even have a coach.
Really? Eastside. You're talking about exposing an organization? You're bringing in Brian Flores, who's trying to burn down the NFL, so you can hold on to Deshaun Watson.
That makes sense though. If that's their whole game.
And you think you got room to talk about dysfunctional? You had the best receiver in football, and y'all decided to trade him away for a broke-down running back. I think Gallimore could be the big guy. I hope so, but I still need a man in the middle. I need a one technique. I need a serious dog. He was high, of course. Sugar Day said he was high, of course. Diggs should be. You know, Elijah, I said that jokingly earlier today. I said, if you cut Amari Cooper, who's going to be your number one? You going to bring Diggs over? Way he's catching the football.
I mean, I think Diggs.
I
honestly think Diggs will be a better wide receiver than.
Hey, I mean, seriously, he can track the ball.
I mean, he gets burnt too many times. For my liking.
30 snaps a game or 60 is the question to get chipped on like every other play. It was all a blur. Can you replace the O-line in the draft and keep restructuring Coop's contract? You can try, but here's the problem. If you ask me things that we need, without a doubt, either by free agency or the draft, I think you need a center. I think you need to get Tyron Smith's replacement.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I think you could move La'el Collins to guard and maybe restructure his deal and put Terrence Steele at tackle, at right tackle. I think that could work. But you also need tight end. We need a game-changing tight end. I know Kyle Pitts was everybody's dream, and when you look at a team like Kansas City or you look at San Francisco, when the game's on the line, the tight end is that security blanket. Now, Dalton Schultz did catch 78 passes, but I don't know that he was truly that security blanket that your quarterback needs. I mean, that was the best production we've had in tight end since Jason Witten was, a younger man.
Well, Jason Witten always
probably to like 2015, 2014.
Jason Witten always sucked up all of the time.
You did.
He sucked it all.
He talks a lot of shit for liking such a garbage organization. Ooh, Gina throwing darts tonight. Hey, Harold, you better watch it. Gina will knock you right out. I'm telling you,
she don't play.
Ask Micah. She don't play. He was walking around here scared. Look, Mike's like, what?
Why do you put my business out there like that?
I said, welcome, son, to the married life, because you're no longer with the single life. Oh, boy. We need a new look.
We definitely need one of those. Where can you find
if you're going to, priority-wise to me, offensive line. You got to fix the offensive line. If you fix the offensive line, Zeke can be effective, okay? If you fix the offensive line. If you're saying keep Amari Cooper, you're not going to be able to run the ball. You're going to end up getting your quarterback killed, and the offense isn't going to do jack. Aisha Robinson, what's up? You got to be able to run the football if you're running this damn garbage-ass offense that we've been running forever. But I honestly believe it's time for Mike McCarthy to be the guy
who calls the play,
who looks in the mirror at himself and says, I got one shot. I got one chance, one opportunity. Doom, 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 doom. Okay, I'm sorry, Eminem. And he's got to go out there and say, damn the torpedoes, this is what the fuck we're going to run. And believe in it and say, this is my swan song. We either going to be successful and we're going to win, or I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. But this is what we're going to do. I am going to be the man with the big nuts, the big kahunas here, and this is what we're going to do it. Kellen, shut up. This is what we're doing.
Kellen Moore might be gone.
But he might be coaching. Yeah, there we go.
And I'll be okay with that because then we'll change what we're doing.
Sounded like exact. You got the reference, Patrick. All right, man, you got it. Tell them that 9-sack Bengals. But Reaper, you know what he also had, though? He also got those turnovers. Other team was dicing up to him, too. Yeah. He got a little bit of help there. He got a little bit. I'm not saying that Joe Burrow didn't play good, but you know what? He didn't do it all by himself. He had an incredible defensive performance. His receivers stepped up. He played good. They won that game as a team. Yes,
I think
he got sacked a lot. I'll give you that. But they were working on all phases of the game.
He is a good quarterback. You can put him up there. there in the conversation.
Michael got a sassy girlfriend. Ooh. Me too, Alan. Speaking of trolls, Mark, where is Philadelphia? I haven't seen him either, man. I don't know. Don't know. Maybe sad that Doug Peterson's hired by Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville will be better because of Doug
So,
Peterson.
what do we need on defense? Linebackers. We need linebackers, and we need the man in the middle. In the middle.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think Bohannon is ready to be that guy.
He may be or may not be. I mean, he may be a part-time guy. I mean, it was a late-round draft pick. It wasn't like he was a number one draft pick and then dropped out.
Now, when Tampa Bay won that Super Bowl, they had two big guys in the middle.
Yeah, and you can look at the Rams with Aaron Donald is a game changer.
Yeah.
So definitely the need linebacker. I think Van Der Esch is gone bye-bye. We do get Jabril Cox back. You can play Micah Parsons as one of your linebackers.
Micah Parsons line.
You have Luke Gifford, but you still we need a true dog linebacker
if
in the middle.
goes, Micah Parsons need to be full-time on that line. Full-time defensive end. No ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Lacey. Yeah, we do have Cox, but we don't know what we got with Cox just yet.
He's still.
I mean, are you ready to gamble and say, oh, we're good at linebacker with a guy coming back from injury who's in his second year?
Maybe you draft one and get one.
Francisco, you are my main man. Oh, that's not the right one. Yeah. We need a man in the middle. What?
You got an Eagle fan in the house. That's
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagle fans.
Your flies down. That's about it. I think we need a few linebackers so we can help. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Let Kent. Well, yeah. Let's hope that they go ahead and say, you know what, Dan, you tell us what you need. Anything you need, we're gonna get.
We need a few pieces.
Alicia Carney, what's up? Is that another Alicia? We need to do a drawing. What do we give? Are we giving away a Joe Barty? Are we giving away what are we giving away this time? I can't give away the butcher blocks. I got too many of those I got to make, and they take too much time right now. We'll do one of those later.
Do a carving.
Carving of what? Roger? We could do that. We could give away, let's see. Would y'all like to have a carving like that one? Roger and Tom Landry?
Now seeing it on the screen actually looks really good.
Huh?
Seeing it on the screen now it looks really, really
Yeah.
good.
Anybody? Does that sound like a winner?
I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, you go ahead and spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Pull a name. Nathan Henry says, give me a Joe Barty. And let me remind you guys, don't be like David Wiley, where I missed his birthday because he did not go to the community tab and find the channel members post and go to the site to talk to my wonderful wife, Tracy, so that way we know when your birthday is and can get you your shot glass. All right. Drum roll, please. Forever Fresh in Line. I've not seen. He's always here.
He was here
I
last time.
guess it's a guy. I don't know if it's a guy or not.
Well, I mean, they were.
I mean, Fashion Line. I mean, is that a guy thing or a girl? I mean, I don't want to make it a sexist. I don't want to make that a sexist assumption. I mean, fashion. I mean, some of the greatest.
You make men's clothes too, or female clothes.
Okay, forever, as in like ever.
They were here on Friday. I saw them on Friday.
Forever, ever Fashion Line is the winner chicken dinner. Boom. We ought to do a couple of those. I mean, we could just go through, just have the machine set up, and just do like 5 or 6 of them, have them done.
Well, if you get a bigger piece, we can just put it.
They're right there by the machine, 6 foot long.
You know what I mean? Or however, we'll figure it out.
There's a couple of those boards right there, 6 foot. So that means you can get 3 out of a board. Only thing is, though, you'd have to readjust. So you could do 2.
Yeah, I think 2 would be
2 because that's 36 out of the 48. Now, if you shorten them to 14 inches a piece, then you could get 3 on the cut and have it set. Okay. All right. See, we're doing shop talk here.
We can figure that out another day.
I love weed. I need to know how was ladies' night because I'm jealous. Oh. Well, you know what? I'm actually sad about ladies' night because Gina C didn't show up. I thought Gina C was going to be there. What? What you pointing at you? What you pointing yourself at? So when she mad at you, she mad at all of us?
No.
What? Oh, okay. Oh, she was busy talking with you?
Yeah,
Conversating. Is that a word? Conversating? Okay.
That's a fancy way of saying conversation.
I'm afraid that Gina's going to come back and kick my ass next. Okay.
Well,
Gina, don't hurt me, girl.
She's not because of that cabinet. She needs.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, don't break the hands. Just don't mess up the hand. I need my hands here because all crafts and stuff. No, but all jokes aside, it was great. We had Stacy was there, Gina Thorne was there, Sheila were there, Angelica Barron was there. Who else was there? Oh my goodness, there were about 10 of the ladies. My wife was even there, and Tammy was there. Tammy is like north of Montana. It was like minus 26 degrees where she was. There was Ava was there. She's in Alaska. Alaska, I guess that was a balmy 18.
Was it still sunny out there?
I can't
I know
remember.
some of the years it's sun 24/7.
That's in the
some parts of
summertime.
the year.
In the wintertime, they have where I remember my brother Tony would say that the sun would just kind of come up and go down. It's like, okay, we got our sliver. And then in the summertime, it's like you got to have darkening shades because it's midnight sun. So it's just crazy.
At 3 in the morning, some people mow their yards when it's sun all day long.
But yeah, we had a great time there. We got to know Gina Thorne was there. We had a great conversation and stuff and getting to know. It was actually great to put faces to. Join us next week, Gina. Gina, I think it's once a month, isn't it? I better check with Tracy because okay. Let me double check on that. Oh, Joey, I thought I said Joey. See, my bad. I got it backwards. Angelica Barron wasn't there. Joanne was there. I'm sorry, Joanne. Forgive me. You were there. Sorry you were getting over being sick. I'm sorry you were feeling bad there. I'm sorry. My apologies. I got it backwards. You know, I'm getting old and got dementia, and trying to take care of this channel, starting the cooking channel, and doing keto. You know, I've just got all this.
Oh wait! Don't forget about
and
your
then
woodworking channel.
and then the woodworking. So it's just like I'm going crazy.
Yeah, but you're doing what you like doing.
Mary Lon, welcome in. All right. So do we have any other news? Any other questions? Anything else? Oh, that's what I was like, Gina. I mean, we can. We can always have. I mean, you know me. I always like to talk. But definitely, that was definitely fun. I need to do a raffle to see who. Okay, look, I love weed. It's not dating game. It's not dating game.
No, it's not.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gina. Your voice was barely there. That's how much of a cold you had. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're feeling better. Hope you're definitely feeling better before Valentine's Day. Can Dallas have a chance to fix the offensive line this year, or is it going to take more time?
I think
That depends on what we do with some of the other players. If we hold on to D-Ware and Amari Cooper, probably not. Because then you're going to have to draft a whole lot of free agents.
I think one of those two.
Draft a whole lot of players
if not
to
both.
replace free agents. If you end up, because ultimately you can think about Stephen Jones saying that they like bargain basement shopping to fill in the holes and stuff, so that way they can draft the best player available. You could look and say that, really cornerback is what everybody thought we needed, but they looked and said Micah Parsons is the best guy out there, and you say that was a great move. Yeah, they said the same thing about CeeDee Lamb. We needed defense, but CeeDee was the best player available. So if you end up creating some cap space and keep guys like Jaron Kearse and maybe a Brent Urban who will be cheap, but Brent Urban actually played well on the defensive line. you keep some of the free agents that you have that are plugging in, the Jaron Curses and maybe the Keanu Neals. You say we keep Keanu Neal because that kind of helps, and then you go into the draft and you see what's there. And maybe you go out and say, we're going to go ahead, instead of getting a bargain basement offensive line, we're going to try and step up and get like a real stud. Because you can look and say, San Francisco going out there and getting Trent Williams was a great move. Trent Williams played fantastic. Not keeping Cooper would be a huge mistake. Mary. What's happening, Mary? How are you doing?
Well, I mean, it's just. I don't know. It's hard to read Jerry Jones. I think we can survive without him, but it's like
I'm going to ask. Okay, I'm going to ask a real question. What big contract have the Cowboys paid that ended up being a guy that we couldn't live without? Cowboys made a lot of big contracts. From Marion Barber, we looked at him and said, oh, he was beast mode before beast mode. Miles Austin.
Oh, that dude was
DeMarcus Ware. Des Bryant. Tony Romo. We've made a lot of big contracts that when you look at the grand scheme of things, Terrence Newman, I can't think of one that we've made big contract that you look back and say, thank God we got that guy under contract. Quite frankly, I hate to say it, but the Cowboys suck at figuring out who to pay big contracts to. Because we always end up looking back and saying, that guy's not worth the money. Well, you were the ones that said that he was.
I know D-Law's enough.
Right?
Because we were actually winning games before D-Law came back.
I'm just saying.
We were actually winning before D-Law came back.
I'm just saying, look at the money. We ended up losing. Okay, and here's an example for you. 2013, worst defense in football. You lose DeMarcus Ware and his big contract. You lose Jason Hasser, who signs a big contract to Washington. You lose Sean Lee. And guess what? They said, oh, man, you won't beat a high school team with that. But that defense got better. That defense was second in the NFL taking the football away and went to 19th in scoring defense. When you lost 3 great players. We keep thinking we can't live without a guy. We had people who said, oh, we can't get rid of Jalen Smith. Oh, no, he's going to come back and haunt us. Child, please. Anyway, that's all I got. You got anything to add? Mike's got, Mike's got himself a new channel. And you want to tell everybody about your channel, everybody?
Oh, Gig Economy.
Gig
So
Economy.
we're showing you how to make real money. Be a self-employed.
He's saying,
How to make some money being self-employed.
all right, so
Working those Gig Econ apps.
he's about that money. He's about that money. All right, and
I'm about getting my life
here's
together.
okay. So another thing, channel members, and we're gonna start. Here's what we're gonna do.
Wait. And David Wiley, too.
David Wiley,
Yeah,
I'm disappointed, David, but happy birthday, son.
Happy
40,
50, 40.
big. Oh my God, 40. You know how many damn kids I had that were grown by 40? Just about. Damn. You just beginning your shit. Make sure if you are a channel member, you go to the community tab, and in there, it's down a couple. I need to repost it because I've got some my cooking stuff. Go there, click on the link there, and get registered so I can make sure that you got your shot glass or your stress ball, because you need stress balls. You super fans, you need stress balls, and you have your racks if you're the tailgate members and stuff. Because what we're going to do after Super Bowl Sunday is there's a void, there's a vacuum that needs to be filled. And what we're going to be doing with channel members is we're going to be doing Zoom-in calls where we talk about the Cowboys and maybe mix in a little fantasy football with Stewart or whatever. Maybe we just talk about, is the sky still blue? I don't know. But we're going to do something on Sundays to help fill the void with you guys, where your channel members will be able to be the ones zoomed in directly, so we can do questions and answers and this, that, and the other. And we're going to have other cool things for channel members, so I want to make sure that we can keep up with you. The other great thing is, too, is you can send your picture with your shot glass and stuff as channel members. And I finally got a chance to start updating the closing video. Yay. So I've actually got a whole lot of new faces on there. And so if you order something and you get that shot glass, take a picture and send it to me. Or if you're a channel member and you got your shot glass, take a picture and send it to me. Because we're also going to be doing some other stuff. You know what else we got to try out there in the workshop? What's that? Coasters. Because you can put a big board out there and just say, cut, walk away.
You just got to figure out how to cut the shapes.
There's templates in there because they have them.
Okay.
For coasters, right. So we put the Jobu star in there, or we could put...
I know we have to figure out the depth so we don't cut the...
Yeah, well, right. That we got, definitely, because we don't want to be messing it up because we'll be buying new boards. Yeah, so with that being said, let's take a look at all of you wonderful channel members. He got it on his birthday, too. Troy Daniels. There's Gene. And one of the butcher blocks we did, he makes beef jerky. So he's like, I'm going to send you some. I'm like, okay. All right, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you guys being here. We will be probably doing the Senior Bowl. I guess we'll do a live stream during that. It's tomorrow. Isn't it tomorrow? It's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. We'll be doing something with the Senior Bowl. We'll definitely watch. I was seeing if DMV was going to be here, but DMV is not, so we'll just do it without him. But as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, as well as you ladies. Be safe out there, and make sure you tell somebody you love them. And with that being said, we're going to turn out the lights. This party's over.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.
What we need to do on those is get them all cut and ready to go, and just say we're putting the epoxy on all of them, and just leave the shop. Like I said, it'll be nicer when the weather warms up some, so that way we can end up just having the exhaust fan on there.
Yeah,
So that way it'll just take it out. But probably do it like at the end of the day. Well, you can retop after 4 hours, and I think you can try and put it on like really thin, layer after layer.
for the first layer.
Well, but see, actually, I think what I'm going to do is like when I did the first ones, and I put the tape around the outside of them, and then poured it in. I think after you get those first 2 layers on there, that's what I'm going to do on those.
Yeah, because he said you have
I'm going to do that tape reservoir around
He
it.
said something about you had to seal it because of all the bubbles.
You remember how when I was doing that first one and I was heating it? What it is it was heating the wood, and the air in the wood kept coming through. So the more I kept trying to get the bubbles out, the more it kept bubbling up. And that's why it was.
Put like a thin coat on it.
Well, that's okay, and that's where watching the videos, you know, we're learning, of course, is you do that first coat that's real thin, and that ends up sealing it. So that way, when you put the successive coats on there, but if you put the first coat on, you could do that first seal coat, and then 4 hours later, you can come back and pour more into it. You're not supposed to pour more than a centimeter in at a time. So yesterday I did that first coat, you know, real light over the whole thing. Today I filled in all of the deep parts. Tomorrow what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll tape it around and fill it in, and then we can go through it. Because when you fill it in after doing that, that top coat should be bubble free and actually smooth that you don't have to do anything to it. Or you can actually polish it. But I did order the polisher. Not the polisher. I ordered 4,000 grit paper. You know, all the grits disc.
Yeah.
And I ordered the
vacuum thing.
Yeah, because that dust is toxic, and we don't
I'm
want
sure
to.
it is.
I'm actually feeling a little bit, and you're probably right about the fumes. It's
My
supposed
eyes
to
were
be.
burning when I went in there, so I mean, it's probably not good for you to breathe if my eyes are burning.
That's where I say we need to put the exhaust fan on there.
That and maybe get some wear some eye protection and maybe at least like a mask or something.
We're gonna have to at some point. I haven't even asked. I mean, people. I'm getting email after email.
What you have to do is
Everybody
tell us
wants
when
it.
he's going to tell them that's going to take a certain amount of time because of the resin. Cutting it out isn't the issue; it's the resin that takes the most time.
We almost need another space just to be able to do finishing in there. Set it up so. I wish I had Daniel's garage.
Or even the size that Jack.
Actually, yeah. Well, actually,
he actually had because I've
had
been there a couple.
Had a metal building like his, but have it about 15 feet longer, and having the dividing wall in there, so that 15 by 20.
We're gonna put it until you get that big chunk of land. Because when you get that big chunk of land, you could do it. You could put a building up there if you wanted to.
That's the country.
Yeah.
Have to work my ass off trying.
Wait, you still live?
Oh shit.